Hello ladies and gentlemen, Killshot here, and today we're going to be going over the Savage A22 Precision. Now I bought this rifle with the intention of obtaining a rifle that could shoot sub MOA, both at 50 and 100 yards, that I could potentially use in a competition in the future. The way you see this rifle here is exactly the way I get it from factory, but I did buy this rifle secondhand, and one thing you will notice is that there are two different thumb screws here to adjust the cheek riser. This one on the right is one that it comes with from factory, and I had to get this one from my Oryx chassis as the seller did not have both of them. He lost one of them, and that's why these two here are different. From the back of the rifle, we have an adjustable length of pull. It's about 12.5 to 13.5 inches. Adjustable cheek weld, palm swell grip. It's very ergonomic. I like it very much. You do have the Accu trigger, regular thumb safety, A-series takedown configuration to clean the bolt and internals. You pop it out, very easy. Everything comes up from the back. Comes with a top rail from factory. The receiver and the barrel are both carbon steel with a matte finish, as is the aluminum MDT chassis. The barrel is 18 inches and comes threaded in the front. And on the bottom of the chassis, we do have a swing swivel and M-lock in case you want to attach any more accessories. On top of the rifle, I do have a Bushnell Elite 4500 4X. This is a 2.5 by 10 magnification, but eventually I will be getting a 6x24 first focal plane scope. This is just a placeholder for now, and that concludes the wrap up of the rifle. Now in this video, I usually do shoot off the shoulder without a proper backrest, but since I wanted to see what this rifle is capable of, I did shoot with the rear backrest for the majority of the video. So the grooves might be a bit better and more tighter than other videos on my channel, previous videos that I've had on my channel. Also, I did use a lot more fouling shots in this video, so usually I would only shoot about 5 fouling shots, and then I would shoot one group at 50, one group at 100. But while testing this rifle, I would stick to one box at a time. So I'd shoot a few foulers and then shoot up multiple groups at both distances. So at the end of the box, I had a good idea of how each ammunition performed with the rifle. One other thing I did is also shoot similar brands of ammunition at a time. So I shot all of my Ely ammunitions, all of my Norma and RWS ammunitions all together. That way the wax was the same during each ammunition. I did clean the receiver once or twice as it did get a bit dirty, but I did not clean the barrel throughout the testing of this rifle for this video so far. On the front of the rifle here, I do have a basic Tactical Solutions muzzle brake. This was a cheaper one out of the few that they had in the store. I wanted to see if using a muzzle brake on a 22 would make a big difference while shooting the rifle, but I did not notice any difference at all with the recoil. I do find that Savages do have a bit heavier recoil compared to other rimfire rifles that I've owned in the past. I noticed this with my Savage A22 as well, but I thought that was because of a heavier Magnum cartridge that it produced a bit more recoil. You'll notice here that it does have an oversized charging handle, as Savage likes to call it, with the red accents. Now it does look very nice, but when you're shooting the rifle, there is a bit of shift after each shot with a point of impact. Looking at the magazines here, they do come from factory with 10 round rotary magazines. A lot of people dislike these magazines. They say that they're very cumbersome to load and time consuming. Personally, I don't mind them, and one thing I do like about these magazines is that they provide a very flush look while inserted into the rifles. As you can see here, when they're inserted, it's very clean. As far as reliability with these magazines, I have no complaints at all. Using these magazines and the Butler magazines, the reliability is the exact same in my opinion. The Butler magazine works very well on this rifle. It goes in very easily and clicks in very solid in there. I've had no issues with the Butler magazines, although loading them sometimes, the ammunition kind of goes to the side a little bit and you kind of have to play it to get it back in line. This only happens with the 22 magazines, not with my 17 HMR magazines, so maybe it's just this magazine. Could just be a one sample size thing, but one thing I did notice while using this magazine here. One thing I like about Savages as opposed to Rugers in the 22 realm is that in Canada we are allowed to use 25 round magazines. That is one big hindrance of why I've never gotten a Ruger 22 rifle. I'm also a very big fan of Savage. You could consider me a Savage fanboy. I like Savage because they offer something for everybody at every price point, and the options are limitless. So if you did want a Boyd stock with a thumb hole stock and a fluted stainless steel barrel, Savage offers that, so Rugers I find tend to be very overpriced and for what you get, and the only beneficial thing to Ruger is the aftermarket. Talking about the aftermarket with the Savage A series, there are no barrel manufacturers from the research I've done. You can get an aftermarket jar trigger, which is a bit lighter of a trigger pull, but I do like the IQ trigger a lot. I'm a fan of the IQ triggers. As far as stocks go, there's obviously the typical Boyd stocks you can get. This is an MBT chassis as it is, and that should cover it for the aftermarket. For the rails, I'm not sure there's any aftermarket rails. There are Riva rails that I've seen in the store before, but I'm not sure there's any Area 419 rails or any other aftermarket rail companies making rails for the Savage A series platform. Now, when it comes to the performance of different ammunition in this rifle, every single ammunition that I've put to the rifle has performed very well. A lot of the subsonics perform very good, but like I said earlier, some of the subsonics not perform as good at 100 yards as they do at 50 yards. Ammunition that worked well for me includes Ely Club, which performed very well and very consistently, especially at 100 yards. One ammunition that I like very much is CCI AR Tactical. I find this ammunition to be very accurate at all distances, and that is one that I'll be purchasing more of in the future. S&B Canadian is also one of my favorite rimfire ammunition, and in this particular video, when I filmed it, it was a very windy day, but as you can see, there was a bit of consistency at 100 yards with S&B Match. On top of that, I did buy a brick of Normatak 22. It was my first time using Normatak, and I'm very pleased with the results. RWS, target rifle, and pistol are ammunitions that I was very familiar with. And upon Normatak showing up on my gun store for the first time, I realized that they're actually made by RWS, as the stamping is the exact same, so I felt confident in buying a full brick of the Normatak. That is one ammunition that I'll be familiarizing this rifle with. So once I choose the ammunition that I want, it will most likely be Normatak due to the price point. I will clean the barrel and I'll keep shooting the ammunition for a full brick or two. Get the barrel really accustomed to it, and that'll probably be the ammunition of choice that I'll be sticking with. Once again, reliability, functionality, everything functioned very well. I had light strikes with the one ammunition, which was Ely Club, and I had about 2 failure to ejects or feed with the Normatak. That was when the rifle was very dirty for the Normatak. The Ely Club, it just wasn't liking the ammunition for whatever reason. But those are the only reliability issues I've had with this rifle. And I will update any ammunition findings or issues in the description. One other thing to note about this rifle, being a heavy barrel and an all-metal construction, is that it's fairly heavy. If you want to use this as an all-dual rifle for varmint hunting and bench rest shooting, it would not be very ideal, but being a Savage A22, you can't swap it out for many other stocks. In conclusion, would I recommend this rifle? Yes, I would recommend this rifle greatly as a bench rest precision shooter, which is what it's marketed as. Me personally, in my journey here, I'm looking to find a 22 rifle that is sub-MOA, which this rifle is. But if I can accomplish that while having a lightweight rifle, that would be beneficial. So I might part ways with this rifle in the future. And what I'd be looking at the stores is some of the Tactical Solutions rifles. They're very expensive, but they're very light, and they seem to have a lot of good craftsmanship and workmanship built into the rifle. So maybe I'll sell this one and try one of those, because if I could accomplish precise accuracy and lightweight at the same time, that would be extremely beneficial. So those are my plans with this rifle moving forward. I might just keep it as well. We'll see how it goes. If I do keep it, I'd like to Cerakote it, maybe do a couple things to it, really make it my own. But I will want to play around with some of the Tactical Solutions rifles. Otherwise, if you're looking for a precision rifle, a bench rest rifle, you want to compete and you want to use a rifle that comes with everything from factory and not put any work into it, Savage is a great option. The bolt action variant of this rifle, the B22, has a lot of high praise. But one thing about that rifle is you might have to do some polishing on the bolts, as some of the bolts do scrape the bullets upon entering into the chamber. To everyone watching, I thank you so much. I hope all is well. Take care. Happy shooting. Adios.